So we're going to go back to old school animation, hand drawn question. What was the process for you like drawing for Little Mermaid?
It was interesting because I had just come off a huge success. The movie that I worked on before The Little Mermaid was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which was animated mostly in London with a studio there, a Disney studio there. And as you know, it was a huge hit. So you're still on this high. And then I came back to Burbank, and then they said, Andreas, now we're going to do here The Little Mermaid. Would you like to animate King Triton, Ariel's father? And I said, of course I would. And then it turned out, then the more I found out about that character through storyboards and listening to the dialogue, he was sort of like my own dad. My dad was also kind of strict with my sisters when they grew up and when they started dating. So a lot of the situations you see King Triton in with Ariel happened at home when I was a kid and my sisters started dating.
So that must have helped you kind of grounding it in the real world.
It is always interesting and I think helpful when you can base your animation on real life, on real experiences, because then it has that much more authenticity. I told my dad years later that King Triton is based on him, and he didn't know if that was a good or a bad thing.
So I argue Little Mermaid is the best soundtrack ever for a Disney movie. I think the music is wonderful. What was your reaction the first time you saw the music over what you animated?
Well, we were all just blown away, not just at the end, because even while we were working on it, we have these demos of these songs, and they sounded incredible, like the best that we have heard, and really as good as the old classics. So now it was like, okay, the quality is really going up here in terms of music and writing, because the story was also coming along. Now we have to up our game and really fill it out with great animation. Yeah. So it was a little bit of pressure.
Her last question, because you mentioned Roger Rabbit, which I was going to ask you about anyway. That movie was very complicated. The first time trying to mix animation, live action with no CGI, students they would not understand that. What was the biggest challenge for you trying to pull that off?
The easy part on working on a character like Roger Rabbit, or even the other characters, I worked on several others on the film too, the easy part was really animating them, because that's a style of animation which we call old school Hollywood animation from the 1930s, 40s. The animation is very squashy, stretchy, a lot of fun, but plugging in that animation with live action characters and their performances, because the live action was shot before the animation came in, and these actors, they had to imagine Roger Rabbit standing right here and then talking to him and making that up, and then we plug in the animation. That was complicated.
And you had to match to the live action. Like, yeah,
100%.
like,
Not only putting the rabbit and talking to Bob Hoskins, but the camera was also moving slightly often, and then that meant we have to also change the perspective of the rabbit, as well as the acting. So it really wasn't easy, but it was so worthwhile, because when we saw the movie finished, we knew we were something new. We were doing something new.